Hello and welcome to an emergency weekend edition. Well, I don't know about emergency, but a weekend edition of the VR Untethered podcast. Another solo one with only me. We had a bunch of technical snafus yesterday that prevented us from getting our regular recording done. So today is just going to be a super short session. I'm gonna cover my highlights of the week, and then we're gonna get right into the rest of the new releases, upcoming titles, news, etc. So, my highlights of the week. First of all, I played some of my regular games, so Gravity Sketch, all that stuff. I finished Moss. I got to the end of Moss, and that's a very excellent game. It's very well done. Although, I do have to say the thumbstick control of the character is a little frustrating at times. Because I can't tell you how many times I had Quill running and then jumping over a chasm to get to that platform, but she was marginally off, and so fell. Always so frustrating, but overall, it was a very excellent game, and it had a great story. And if you've already played it, you already know this. They left it open to a sequel. I also played the Pistol Whip with the new scene Akuma, and it's a fun scene. I also played it immediately after I got the version 13 update, and I had to make multiple attempts on it in normal in order to finish it, because I kept having tracking issues. All of a sudden, in the middle of the game, it would lose to tracking and everything go black, or and then pull up the dialogue, and then before I could react to the dialogue, it was away, and I was back in the game. But by that point, I'd already lost because I'd been hit and I'd missed a few of the players or of the enemies and whatnot. So I had to start over a few times, and when I finally got to go all the way through, it was fun. So, it's less pistol whippy than the last new scene they did. So, I know not everybody likes just the pistol whipping. So this one has much fewer opportunities to pistol whip in the song, and it's a couple opportunities where you have to shoot a whole row of enemies on a platform or a balcony, platform, ledge, whatever you want to call it, in front of you. So, and I checked out the Spider-Man web VR game. It's not actually a Spider-Man game, but the obviously inspired, and you swing around by shooting your webs at the building, and just travel around the city. And you can do just a free play mode, or you can do a mode where you are collecting as many the crystals as you can. So I gave that a try, and it was pretty fun. One thing that I didn't like about it is if you manage to try to land on top of a building, you just fall straight through. There's no the collider on the top of the building, evidently. So a couple times I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what Spider-Man does and land on top of the building, and oh wait, okay, never mind. So, but hey, It's a fan-made game, and it's pretty fun, regardless of that limitation. Now, before I go too much further, I need to let you know that I do have a cold, so that my voice may sound a little bit different than it usually does in these, and you may hear me sniffle a little bit. I will try to keep that to a minimum, but if you do, that's why. So, now let's look at the version 13 update. There are no new releases, no known upcoming titles that are supposed to be coming out on Thursday of this week that I know of. If you know of any, feel free to drop a comment and let me know. But what did come out this last week was the version 13 update. So, as a reminder, this is a rolling update. Probably not everybody has gotten it yet. It usually takes a couple weeks or so before everybody gets it. So, however, this is a quick rundown of what is included in the update. There's an update to Oculus Link. You have the ability to reset the Guardian from within Dash while using Link. There's an Enable Oculus Link button added to the Quest menu bar. There is a bug fix, another bug fix, another bug fix, and another bug fix. So, a bug fix about audio being only there when Dash was present, audio only working if it's set to 100%, home not loading, and you can now replay a video you recorded for abuse recording purposes before submitting it. And they have performance and stability updates. Now, one of the biggest and the coolest updates for the Quest is hand tracking. It now can pretty much automatically switch between using your hands and using your controllers. This one here, the new option is enabled by default. So if you don't want it to automatically transition, you need to go and turn that off. I haven't seen this happen yet because I didn't have the I am thinking this might only work when switching from hand tracking to using controllers. You can now more easily find your controllers by enabling pass-through. I did not see how to test that on my Quest, and so I am thinking that might only be the case if you have automatic transitioning disabled, because I did not see the button on the menu for use controllers, so I couldn't switch by say clicking on a button. So I don't know if you've gotten this, find the controllers with pass-through working, so drop a comment and let me know how to do it. They added a new step to the hand tracking tutorial that lets you practice scrolling with your hand, some developer support, and improved stability for the hand tracking. Excuse me. Some people have reported that it is more stable. I think I've seen a few people report that it's less stable, but maybe they need to reboot the device, like you often have to do after an update, and then they'll see that it's more stable. one person did report that it's more stable, but now it requires more light to work. So I haven't really done an exhaustive testing of it yet, so I really don't know. It seems about the same on mine. So, and events. You can now start a party direct from an events the detail page. Event host can allow guests to invite their friends. If you are viewing in a developer created event, you can see a list of all your friends who are interested. If you view a user created event, you can see a list of all users who have indicated they are interested, as well as all users who have been invited, depending on who can see your activity on Oculus privacy setting. If they don't want to appear in that list, they can go into the privacy setting and say, I don't want to appear in those lists. So, App Search appearance and behavior has been updated. It's a new look. Not everyone's going to see this because this is part of an A/B test where some users get a new look and feel, and other users are still on the old version, and they're going to see which one works better. So, and another fairly big one, there is a new app called Scoreboards, which will allow you to see how your achievement and leaderboard accomplishments compare to your friends. This is rolling out slowly to all users, so you may not see it right away, but it will be showing up as a new app so that you can open. So, the storage manager has received a makeover, intended to allow you to have a better understanding of your device's storage use. User profiles have been updated to show the apps you own, your achievements. I know a lot of people have been asking for that, and your friends. And then a whole bunch of bug fixes. To fix an issue where you could invite a user to a party that they were already in, fix the app download bug that caused the headset to stop responding, process of launching an app after switching back to controller is more efficient. App purchase button text was displayed oddly. They fixed that. This is a big one. I get this one, and I've only had the update for a couple of days, so I haven't really done an exhaustive test on this yet. But hopefully this bug fix is true, because it does affect me. Fix the bug that sometimes caused a tracking loss when waking the headset up from a sleep state. I get that about, I want to say, a quarter of the time when I put my headset on after it's been sleeping. It goes into a short tracking loss loop, create new guardian, tracking loss, and then it eventually resolves itself, and it works. So hopefully this bug really is fixed, because that's a pretty annoying bug. So, and they fixed the bug where avatar thumbnails would not update in all locations after a change, and on the Oculus Go. So the Oculus Go is not quite being completely ignored yet. I'm sure that day is coming. They fixed the bug that caused the display to lock up when waking the headset up from sleep. It sounds very much like the one I was just talking about, so the tracking loss. So, and additional the bug fixes and stability improvements. So, that is the version 13 update in a nutshell. Now on to the news. So, one bit of news is there is someone building a VR Podracer prototype. I watched a little video of it, and it looks pretty fun. It's obviously not entirely like the quote-unquote actual pod racer experience from the movies, because in the movies you have to raise your hand to get speed or whatever, and he's got to fix to the controllers. But you pull the controllers closer and away from you to steer. So there we go. Oops. That went a little too far there. There we are. There we go. So, simple graphics, clean look. I could see this being a fun multiplayer experience, especially if it really gives a feeling of speed in it, and it looks like it does. So, that is a pretty good looking game, if you ask me. Going up a ramp, landing back down. So that is a game that I'm looking forward to and would be happy to play. So, and another bit of news, there was the Fruit Ninja and Pinball, the duo pack in the store right now. If either of those games are one you have been interested in, now is your chance to go and get them at a reduced price. And in a bit of fairly big news, the coronavirus is projected to impact Quest production. They've already made announcements about that and stopped ordering and whatnot. And Qualcomm chip production is also being affected by the coronavirus. So all that means is that there's going to be a delay on certain things until they get people quarantined and the spread of the virus in the factories stopped. So that everyone is well and able to work in the factories again. But it just goes to show that there's a lot that goes into the success of any said technology, including viruses. This new virus affecting everybody, causing a little bit of panic in some places, and it affects the production of a whole bunch of things. So we'll see. Hopefully that does not affect things too much, and making it so that people can't get the Quest for 10 months or whatever. It shouldn't last that long, I hope. So, last little bit, not news, but as we touched on last week, and we'll do a more in-depth discussion when we are able to have me and Brad on again, is how many games of a given type is there room for? Because there was a discussion that came up in the MVR Discord about a new first-person shooter game to coming out or to being worked on, and one person goes, "Well, we've already got Onward and Contactors and Pavlov that coming out. I don't think there's room for another one." And my response, and a few other people's responses, was, well, how many games of the same type are there in Pancake games? No. how many Counter-Strike like games are there? How many Rainbow Six games are there? You know, how many Halo like games are there? How many MOBA games are there? Because not every first-person shooter game is going to appeal to the same people. So, Pavlov might appeal to this person, but he doesn't care about contractors or Onward. He just likes Pavlov. And same thing with contractors and Onward. People might be fans of those and not fans of the other games. And if the fourth first-person shooter game that comes out, well, guess what? It's going to have its own unique take on it. It's not going to be a copy of Pavlov. It's not going to be a copy of Contractors. It's not going to be a copy of Onward. It's going to be its own game. So it will create its own following. Now, where I do agree a little bit in that there might not be the room for it is yet. Because the Quest is still a much smaller player base than the regular the Pancake games are. So there may be room, but it may end up temporarily taking people away from some of the other games to play this one, because we don't have the bigger player base yet to fully support 20 different games in the genre. So, you know, there is a little bit of that, in my opinion, but for the most part, yeah, there is room for a lot more, in my opinion. We haven't even scratched the surface yet on exhausting the possibilities of the various game genres. And with VR, it's almost like there are new game genres that you can't do in Pancake gaming, and you can only do in VR, and we haven't even begun to, I don't know, look at that surface, let alone to scratch it. So like I said, we'll get into a bigger discussion of that next week. And meanwhile, what are your thoughts on that? How many games of given type do you think there is room for? Do you think we've already got all the shooter games coming out that we need? Do you think there's room for more? Do you think there's room for more exploration puzzle games like Apex Contract? Do you think there's room for more MMORPG games? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And on that note, thanks for watching, and have a great day.